So why the Dawn Jail?
Many reasons. So as a company, we are committed to doing site-responsive theater. So I was looking for spaces, especially historical spaces in Toronto, to animate. And I came across this in my Google search, and then I came and visited it. And as you can see, when you're in here, it's a pretty magical space. And so I started to ask questions about the history and research, and I was trying to match shows together, and I thought, what could we do in here? What shows would be great in this particular space to animate? And Kiss the Spider Woman was at the top of the list.
Why?
Many reasons. That show, unfortunately, is very relevant today, as it was when it was originally a novel in the 60s or 70s. And I wanted to bring a modern lens to that show, but also the union between the history of this jail, the history of what was happening during the Dirty War of the time of this piece, just kind of created this amazing alchemy. And I thought, wow, let's put the audience in an actual space where we don't have to create the set and the kind of the echoes of the past and the bones of this place, and they can feel the atmosphere. And at nighttime especially, this place is even more magical when these walls kind of disappear and all you see is the lights and the architecture. It's a really amazing experience.
You say magical, I think scary. Is that part of it?
It is. It is. We really wanted the audience to experience what the characters are experiencing, so we wanted to find a really enclosed space. So this space is even actually quite large, as you can see. It's tight but really vast, and so we're even doing our best to make it as tight as possible so they feel the kind of claustrophobia that the prisoners, both in this space and in Argentina, would have felt at that time. And we've built the show around this space. So instead of fighting it, we're actually using it as an opportunity. So the actors will be all around using all these two tiers. Down here, the audience will be kind of immersed within the action. And so we're doing our best to make it a kind of as immersive as possible, and the sound coming from everywhere. And what's interesting about a little tidbit I found about this room is that the reason it's so live in here is because in the history of the jail, they would bring prisoners here, and if they hurt them or tortured them, their screams would echo all throughout the buildings into the cells.
So you'll also be using these levels in the production as well?
Oh, definitely. This was one of the reasons that I wanted to do it here. When I came here, I kind of sat down there and I looked up here, and even someone walking by to their office was magical. And you can hear every single sound from every single angle here. And so this level will serve as the prisoners' level. So this is where they will live. And for the entire show, they'll come down, of course, but this will be their quote-unquote cells up here, and we're going to use lighting. We're going to do as minimal as possible, because as you see, the architecture is so beautiful that we don't have to do too much, but they will be everywhere that we're walking. This will all be playing space in the show. So the audience will feel and hear people behind them. Some of them will see them, some of them won't. It'll be a pretty amazing experience for them to kind of have a experience both visually and through sound as well.
Do you believe this place is haunted?
I don't know if it's haunted, but it definitely has a lot of energy to it, and you can feel it. And if this is the first time you've seen this, you will understand what I'm talking about.
This is one of the cells.
This is one of the cells, and what's interesting is now there's two of us in here, which actually happened back then as well. Sometimes there were 3 people in this tiny cell, and they would take turns sleeping, take shifts, and they would also have just one metal bucket, and this was basically their life. And as you see here, this is that glass floor, which happens to look exactly like a spider's web for Kiss the Spider Woman. So we thought, it's kismet. we must do it here because we have this beautiful floor to work with. And this space will be part of the show in some way, in some secret, fun way. That's going to be a very interactive aspect to the pre-show in some way. I'm not going to give it away, but the audience gets to experience the tour of the jail and some of the history of the jail before they even experience the show.